been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder as well as depression, and I take pills every single day for depression, but I mean, they both creep in sometimes on their own. I've had these conditions probably since early high school, so at least 6 years now, and it's been a while, definitely too long, and I'm really glad I finally got help, even if it took me 5 years to do so. My parents have never really thought that mental health was that big of a deal, or they didn't really believe that it could be as big of an issue as it is. So to be completely honest, it kind of restricted me from going to seek help because I didn't know what they would think about it. And even now, after I have sought help, they don't even know that I'm being medicated or that I went about talking to a doctor at all about it. I never decided to get help earlier because I always thought that I could handle it and that it really wasn't that bad, or I was exaggerating or making it up, and everybody has these feelings. But I started realizing that these are a lot more intense and inhibiting on my daily life than I really let myself on to believe. So I finally decided that it was time. My biggest episode to date was when I crashed my car. Driving has always been one of those situations where I find myself getting anxious for no real reason, even if it's not really difficult driving. But I was stuck in a lot of traffic, a lot of slow-moving traffic, and just felt myself kind of starting to freak out and have an attack, and then I slipped up and ended up crashing into the back of another car. And as I was crying on the phone with my dad and to the cops and trying to explain what happened, then I decided that medication or at least some sort of help would be the best case scenario. Specifically with the anxiety, it feels like you're really up and you're just absolutely terrified for no real reason. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff and you're just looking down, so your heart rate is racing and your blood pressure is high and you're probably feeling a little nauseous and about to throw up. But on the other hand, the depression is like the exact opposite, and you have so many crushing feelings of like worthlessness and hopelessness and just existential crisis type things that are just wearing you down, that it almost feels more like drowning and that you're suffocating under them. The biggest frustration is knowing how badly I want to do something, but at the same time being restricted for no real apparent reason by my own body and brain from actually doing anything. Like if I really want to hang out with people, sometimes it'll just say no and it'll be too overwhelming to even try and go about doing that. And yeah. It seems to cause a lot of restrictions in that I often have days where I won't even get out of the house because I just feel kind of overwhelmed by what my own brain is doing to me, that I don't even want to leave the house. And it can be really hard to make myself get up and go to class or go to work because I have all these responsibilities and there's no real way to get out of them. Like no one's gonna believe me or accept that, hey, I'm having a bad anxiety day, can I stay home? It doesn't work that way. I feel like there's a lot of stigma surrounding mental illness, and a lot of people don't really believe it to be an actual thing. And honestly, I'm not lazy. I don't want attention from you. I would rather not get any of your attention if I could. I'm not shy, and it's not that I don't want to do things, it's just that I physically cannot. And that's really hard to understand if you aren't dealing with it yourself, but it needs to be known. I feel like the stigmas do kind of perpetuate the situation itself, because I spend a lot of time worrying about how I am going to be judged for it, and as well as dealing with what it's already causing me to feel like to begin with. So adding worry on top of worry doesn't help at all. I would really appreciate it altogether if people didn't tell me that I just had to do something to feel better. Like, if I just had to do one little thing to make my entire life change, trust me, I would try it by now, but it's never that simple. A good day starts off with me actually feeling ready to get out of bed and not hitting my snooze alarm a gazillion times because not being tired, but just not wanting to get out of bed. I will usually go about talking to more people in the day and just generally looking more lively. I also tend to be really productive these days, get a lot of classwork done, and generally just, you could tell when I'm having an up day because I'm just a lot more lively, productive, and outgoing than I would be on a normal day. Before I sought help, good days were a little harder to come by. They'd usually be like maybe once or twice a week, but now that I'm actually being treated, I feel like they come at least a few times a week, maybe more if it's a good week.
I guess the advice that I would give to anyone struggling with anxiety would be to not try and keep it to themselves. I know that it's really terrifying, obviously, to like approach people and go and talk to them about it, but it's really just not worth it and a lot more stress than you need to try and deal with it on your own. So it's best that you find help either in some sort of confidant or if you want to see a doctor or a psychologist, something like that, but everyone needs some way to vent out their feelings because you'll just drown under them if you have to keep dealing with them by yourself.